This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
Oil prices ticked up on Thursday, after Israel said its ceasefire with Lebanese armed group Hezbollah was violated and Israeli tanks fired on South Lebanon and OPEC+ delayed by a few days, a meeting likely to extend production cuts. Brent crude futures edged up by 41 cents, or 0.6%, to $73.24 a barrel by 12:51 GMT, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were up 35 cents, 0.5%, at $69.07. Trading is expected to be light because of the U.S. Thanksgiving holiday on Thursday. Israel's military said on Thursday the ceasefire was violated after what it called suspects, some in vehicles, arrived at several areas in the southern zone.
Asia's imports of crude oil ticked up slightly in November, led by a recovery by top importer China, but arrivals are still on track to be weaker this year than in 2023. The top crude buying region is forecast to import 26.42 million barrels per day, BPD, in November, up marginally from October's 26.11 million barrels of oil per day and 26.24 million barrels of oil per day in September, according to data compiled by LSEG Oil Research. The ongoing run of soft monthly imports in Asia is likely to weigh on OPEC+'s deliberations this weekend, with the market expecting that the exporter group will once again delay its planned increases in output.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
U.S. gasoline inventories posted a surprise build last week ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday, while crude oil stockpiles fell more than expected as imports slumped, with supplies from Mexico at a record low, the Energy Information Administration, EIA, said on Wednesday. Gasoline stocks rose by 3.3 million barrels in the week ended November 22 to 212.2 million barrels, the EIA said, compared with analysts' expectations in a Reuters poll for a 46,000-barrel draw. Brent, U.S. crude futures, and U.S. gasoline futures edged lower after the data showed a surprise build in gasoline stocks.
Russia unleashed its second big attack on Ukraine's energy infrastructure this month on Thursday, cutting power to more than 1 million people in the west, south and center of the country. President Vladimir Putin said Moscow had struck in response to Ukraine's strikes on Russian territory with U.S. medium-range ATACMS missiles. He said Russia's future targets could include decision-making centers in Kyiv. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky accused Russia of a despicable escalation, saying it had used cruise missiles with cluster munitions. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. China's imports of scrap copper are set to slump as some traders have suspended buying from the United States, the top supplier, due to worries about rising trade tensions under a Donald Trump presidency, analysts said. Trump, who takes office in January and has threatened tariffs of 60% on Chinese imports, on Monday pledged to impose an additional 10% tariff on imports from China, raising the prospect of retaliatory measures from Beijing. China imported 361,099 metric tons of scrap copper from the U.S. in the first 10 months of the year, accounting for nearly a fifth of total such imports, Chinese customs data showed.
Gold prices rose on Thursday as geopolitical uncertainty and trade war concerns boosted safe haven demand, with low trading volumes expected as U.S. markets are closed for the Thanksgiving holiday. Spot gold was up 0.4% to $2,645.41 per ounce at 12:05 GMT. U.S. gold futures were up 0.3% to $2,644.70. Bullion posted its deepest one-day decline in more than 5 months on Monday. Geopolitical risks remain elevated with ongoing war in Russia-Ukraine, and while an Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire is in force, Israel's contingencies for retaliation keep tensions alive, said Anika Gupta, Director of Macroeconomic Research at WisdomTree.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
The U.S. soybean crush in October likely jumped to a record high 6.327 million short tons, or 210.9 million bushels, Analysts surveyed by Reuters estimated ahead of a monthly U.S. Department of Agriculture report due on Monday. If the average of 7 analyst estimates is realized, it would be up 13.1% from 186.5 million bushels crushed in September and up 4.7% from the October 2023 crush of 201.4 million bushels. U.S. soy processing capacity has grown in recent years as some crushers expanded plants while others built new ones to meet rising vegetable oil demand from biofuels makers.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.